Back on a Thursday night, everyone, here on OpenLine. I'm Rhori Johnston. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it. 737+ if you'd like to join the conversation, ask a question, or share a comment as we talk about Ben's Friends, brand new here in Nashville, a local chapter, nonprofit that started in Charleston, and it is to help hospitality workers facing addiction. And it is an issue. We know it's an issue across so many different types of workforces. But Jamie Pruett is here, co-chair. I've got to give a shout out also, Jamie, to Lincoln Workman and Ashley Johnson, who are working with you.
Yes.
How did you again get connected? It was through
Ben's Friends.
Ben's Friends. When you three got together, how long did it take to kind of get this going?
We all communicated via email for a few weeks. Again, I reference Mickey a lot. He's been so influential and helpful in starting this whole thing and helping us get it off the ground here in Nashville. There was a lot of communication via emails and texting as we all coordinated schedules, and we met for dinner one night. Be a month ago this past Sunday. It was the first time we had all been at the same place at the same time, and it was just that instant sense of connection and shared experience of like we are all here for a common cause.
Awesome.
It is.
How do you feel about, how many meetings have you had?
So we've had three. And this coming Monday will be our fourth.
And how do you feel about attendance so far?
It's been really encouraging to see new faces every week. It's been fantastic. I mean, we have had several people who've been to every single one of the meetings.
Some have popped in, some had, depending on schedules or whether they just let them know, hey, we're here.
We are here.
I want to read something before we get to our caller on hold. Hang on there just for a second. And now I forget where I got this article, so I apologize. It just talks about the situation, the problem within the hospitality industry of alcohol and substance abuse. And they mention one devastating, a number of adults who died after snorting doctored cocaine with fentanyl, and they were all in the restaurant business, the hospitality business. And it says this situation underscored for law enforcement how the industry has become extraordinarily fertile ground for the abuse of alcohol, prescription opioids, cocaine, marijuana, benzos, which we're talking about, like, I think Valium and Xanax and things like that. And the most pernicious of all, according to the experts, fentanyl right now, which we mentioned. And then it talks about what some officials are doing, I think in Delaware. They're teaching restaurant employees how to save a coworker or a customer. If they've overdosed, they're giving restaurants Narcan, which is life-saving. And then there's some criticism of the overall industry and how they're kind of moving a little bit slow. But how many branches or chapters do you know of Ben's Friends? And is it something you think is going to, I would think big cities, New York, LA, Vegas, New Orleans, these hospitality cities, they need a chapter like this, right? I
completely agree. At last count, Nashville was the 21st chapter.
Oh, really? Okay, good.
Nationwide. So,
why do you think it took so long for Nashville? Was the pandemic maybe delayed, obviously? Because you said the seed was there,
Absolutely. That definitely pushed things a little further back than it would have happened. I think part of the reason there's suddenly this interest that seems sudden is just it speaks to how quickly Nashville is growing continually, and how the restaurant, hospitality, tourism industry is exploding in this town, and that forced it to the forefront of the conversation. It's just like, with this growth and this influx of people, like, this is now something we need to talk about.
All right, let's go back to the phones. Ann, thank you for holding. Go ahead.
Yes, many years ago, I watched a very promising young chef fall into the habit of having the nightly close the restaurant and have a drink. And I watched it as it destroyed 2 lives. This has been needed for many, many years in this city, where we have screamed from the rooftops. We're the country music city, and we want people to come here.
Yep.
And to have people come here, you have to have the bottom line peak function workers, and those are going to be your hospitality people.
Right.
And from your baseline worker to your top of the line chef, they fall victim to patterns of everything going on around them. And before they know it, it's too late. So I just want to wish this group good luck. I'm glad it's here. It's been long needed. And I'm very hopeful that you'll have a successful program here in Nashville. And I'll let more callers call in.
Thank you, Ann.
Thank you
Very
so much.
Sweet. It's
Indeed.
good to hear that kind of encouragement, that you know you're on the right track.
Absolutely.
Where do you get your funding? You going to do fundraisers? Do you need funding? You're a nonprofit. Does it come from? How does that work? Just to cover basic.
Yeah, we've just been really fortunate to have the support of people who believe in what we're doing.
Okay.
It really is that simple.
I mean, if you find some restaurant groups or hotels or whatever, say, hey, you know, we'll pitch in. What do you need? And just having the space, like at Oak Steakhouse, saying, come on in, use, you know, before we open up, this is a good kind of a safe space to sit down. I mean, that's huge right there, just having a place and a consistent place where they know they can go, right?
100%. Yes.
I'm going to read some more here about like why restaurants, for those of you who have never worked in the business, that why restaurant workers in particular, hospitality overall, are susceptible. And we've gone over this, but alcohol is prevalent and accessible to any worker of legal drinking age. Indeed, there's still also a widely followed convention of rewarding workers who weather a daily tour of duty with a shift drink, a belt on the house. Follow-up drinks are typically offered to staff at a significant discount if there's a charge at all. Plus, there's the quick relief it can offer to the stressed, and in a slammed restaurant, that's virtually everyone on staff. Right on the money.
Exactly, yes.
So, you know, there also has to be a movement within, you know, we're trying to lure workers. There's a shortage. There's been the pandemic, which is stressful enough. Trying to get more workers in. If I'm a restaurant owner or hospitality group owner or whatever, I do want to offer some kind of a perk. Maybe it's a shift meal or whatever, because I know my employees are working long days. At the same time, there's got to be some give and take here on, we're not going to encourage this because we know that leading to problems.
Right.
Where's that fine line? It's tough.
It gets really murky
because you may have workers who say, "Oh, come on, man! I'm just going to have a beer."
Yeah, and the simple truth is, most people can just have a beer.
Yeah.
Like that shouldn't be held against them.
Sure.
Like that's a big part of my own personal philosophy. And I have several friends, a wide social circle of people who do drink and they can, as we say in traditional recovery, they can drink like a normal person.
They can moderate.
Exactly. You know, someone like me, I couldn't, but I don't want those who don't have the same issue to feel like they can't. But I think the solution there, one of the solutions, is providing that alternative. It doesn't have to be a free shift drink. Like you mentioned, shift meals are becoming more and more popular. I love the tradition in the restaurant industry of a family meal.
Oh yeah,
that's I love that whole idea.
The chef where I worked would, you know, kind of ring a bell and say, "Come on back," and you know, he'd put together something for us. You know, a dish, a good hearty dish.
Yeah.
You know, not costing the restaurant a lot of money, but good, where we could all scoop a plate and go sit down together and get ready. You know, talk and. You know, what do we need to know? We might go over the menu or special or whatever, the manager, and you know, it was always a good thing to get us going. Yeah, but no drinks before the shift anyway. Not that I was aware of back in the day. If you'd like to call in, 737+ is the phone number. I want to talk a little more about Ben's Friends. Give me again, it is Mondays from 11 to 12 at Oak Steakhouse, which is in the Weston, right at the base. It's 801 Clark Place, if you want to put it in your GPS. You and Lincoln and Ashley are there.
Yes.
People come in. Do you have them introduce themselves? Do you kind of read if someone says, I just want to sit, you know, how does it work? You've had a few meetings now and kind of getting gist of it?
Yeah, we do kind of borrow some of the aspects of traditional recovery. We will, if someone's going to speak, we'll introduce themselves. Like if I'm, introducing myself to the group, hey, I'm Jamie, I'm an alcoholic. Yeah, this is what I have going on, what I may be struggling with, or what I've done well with, in the past week. But it's not so much about forcing someone to speak. This is a safe place for you to just be. Whether just being means just sitting and listening, or being means
no pressure, right?
Exactly. This is just a place where you can know that you are among people who understand.
And then, besides those meetings, what if someone comes to you after a meeting and kind of explains, yeah, I'm really struggling, and I don't know what to do? Can you at least guide them to where they could go, or give them some resources or options?
Absolutely. Yeah, so anything from traditional treatment to traditional recovery programs, 12-step, things like that. There's a really impressively sized recovery community in Nashville. I was unaware that it even existed until I myself made the decision to get sober, and I was overwhelmed that at almost any time of the day, any day of the week, I can find somewhere to go. And
whether it's a nonprofit, there are private companies, there are publicly run, hospital, whatever, medical care. There's a lot out there.
Yes.
So you all have reached out to maybe the other nonprofits or other groups of, look, we're doing this. Can we list you as a resource, or kind of, how do you connect with that part of the community, like you said?
Yeah. That's honestly been one of the most incredible things since launching Ben's Friends here in Nashville. I don't know that any of the three of us, Lincoln, Ashley, or myself, have had to reach out to other people. It's almost as though word kind of spread like wildfire through the industry, just word of mouth, and we have people contacting us saying, hey, we want to help. How can we help get the word out? What can we do to support? How can we get involved and be there for the people who are the backbone of what makes the city run?
That must be so, like, affirmation, right, for the three of you?
Yes.
Knowing how quickly, like, whoa, okay, our instinct was absolutely correct on this. Right?
It's been incredible.
How do you think this will help? Because you're always in recovery, but you personally, because you told me honestly, this is not always easy.
Yeah.
But I'm here and I'm moving forward. Don't you think that this is just really, like I said, the affirmation, but helps you in your personal journey and struggle?
Oh, absolutely. That's one of the biggest benefits of recovery, and for me in my own recovery, it's being able to share what I've been given. I don't know that I would have the life that I enjoy today were it not for recovery and sobriety, and being able to pass that gift along to other people who are struggling like I was, and who faced the issues that I faced and still face to this day. Being able to go to people and say, it doesn't have to stay that way.
Right.
You don't have to live this way. There is a better way of life. That's a gift to me, and it's incredible to be able to pass that along.
Right, because I would say that you, when you are struggling, or maybe someone who comes to you, or someone out there who's watching who is struggling, or knows someone who's struggling with any form of addiction, there's a sense of shame. There's a sense of, I don't even know the word, but where you just think that there's no way that I'm going to be able to get out of this. It's just, I'm too far down, and I can't go to a meeting and stay. This is not going to work, and on and on. The self-defeating, right? Self-sabotage. So, I know 3 weeks in, but it's going to be really, hopefully you'll come back, after a period of time, and tell me more about what you're learning. Yeah. And everyone else who's there is learning about, like, wow, okay, let's write this one down. But I can see people who may sit in the back and just be so scared.
Oh, I was that guy.
So scared to speak up and even go there.
Oh, yes.
Like, can I do this? And I'm so ashamed, and on and on and on, right? Wow.
One of the benefits of Ben's Friends that I really like so much is we do have the weekly meeting on Mondays, but also every day of the week, twice a day, midday, late night, there's an online meeting. And you don't have to identify yourself. You don't have to turn your camera on. You can put your phone on mute and just for an hour,
just listen
and just listen. I mean, I've been a part of some of these online meetings where people have an earbud in and they're doing prep work, but they're listening to the meeting and they're getting that support, getting that encouragement, but still being able to function in their job. Or for the people who, like me in early recovery, just wanted to sit and listen. I don't have anything to say. I don't even want anyone to notice that I'm here, but I know I could get something out of this.
Gotcha.
That's a benefit.
It's awesome. All right, take another break, everybody. We'll be back with more Open Line after this.